Hi, this is Linda Burton
And this is Joseph Burton.
with Generation to Generation.
Today we'll be speaking on intentionality triangle.
Yes.
Three parts to that. And to help us go over the topic is Pastor Kathy and Pastor James Flowers. Welcome, guys.
Okay, well, basically, the ability to hear the other person's heart is a skill uh, concept. It's a skill process. It's a discipline. Uh, and then to speak your heart is a discipline. It's a skill. It's a discipline. And to work for a heart to heart win is another skill. So those involve three different skills. One of them is the listening skills, and the other one is the speaking skills, and the other one is problem solving or working it out skills.
So what does the triangle represent then? Because I look at the triangle, the
Mm-hmm.
right side of it says hear your heart. The bottom of it is speak your heart,
Mm-hmm.
speak my heart, and then the left side of the triangle is work for heart to heart win. So
Mm-hmm.
what does the triangle then represent?
The triangle itself represents two individuals in the relationship and the discipline that's required and the maturity that's required to then direct those skills once you learn them toward each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the triangle is really the person. It is the person that's in the relationship with the other person. So if you think in terms of relationship, there's two triangles in the relationship that represent each person. One represents him, the other one represents her. And the whole concept of relationship is the ability to hear your mate's heart,
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to speak from your own heart
without damaging
mm-hmm,
their heart.
mm-hmm. and
Wow.
and then the skill of working together for a win-win, heart-to-heart win-win situation. So so the beginning of the concept of triangle starts with the bottom layer, which is always the foundation. It's the weight bearing
Mm-hmm.
part of the triangle. It carries the weight of the rest of it. And so that's the concept of purpose to be willful. And so the concept there is this: every human, no matter how mature you are, you start out with a parent. And the thing we need to understand is while we grow up and move away from our physical parent, you and I and every other human still needs a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are not created to not have a parent. We started out with one. We should have one all the way through our life. There has to be a parent.
Mhm.
And while you grow beyond a physical parent, you actually need a personal parent. And so the personal parent then becomes the will of the person, and every human's will, really the will of a person is actually the conscious of the spirit that they are. Now that gets into the religious part,
Spiritual
man is
part.
a spirit, that kind of thing. And so the will then becomes the mind, for lack of a better way of saying it, of the spirit, of the man's spirit, of who we act, the essence of who we are. Okay, and so that will, our will, can become our parent that will parent the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes important because in the second layer, and we'll talk more about it, but in the middle of the triangle is this thing called a conscious, or commit to be conscious. And the problem with being conscious is that conscious means I need to be aware
Mm-hmm.
of my emotions. Most of the time, people live and interact from an emotional place,
Mm-hmm.
which is not always good.
Nope.
You know, and so like the emotions want to feel good.
All the
They
time.
always want to feel good. Our emotions just want to feel good.
Like a child. I
Mhm.
want what I want when I want it. And I don't care what it costs you to give it to me.
Mhm, mhm. And too often in trying to feel good, like a child would in trying to taste sweets and suckers and candy, and that's all they want to eat. All they want is candy, 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 candy. They would eat candy all of their life if they didn't have a parent to say no. You're not going to just eat candy or a
Just
sweet
sweet.
cereal that the stores put on the bottom shelf so the kids can pick up and put it in your basket.
On the bottom shelf, that's right.
Yeah.
The kind on the bottom, the nasty kind at the top.
Yeah, yeah. The healthy and the best kind for you is at the top.
Oh, where they can't reach it. They know what they're doing.
So while just like the parent interacts with the child in a situation like that, no, you're not going to have this, or you're not going to have it all the time. We're going to get this. This is better for you. When that physical parent is not present with the adult needs a parent to say, no, you're not going to say this. You're not going to do that. You're not going to act like that.
You need to have discipline.
Because the emotions, again, they want to feel good, and they want what they want when they want it.
Right.
And they basically don't care what it costs you as long as they get what they want. Okay, which is the state of the child. The child doesn't care how much you sacrifice, how much you have, how hard it is for you to get up in the morning and go to work, and what you deprive yourself up for them. They just want what they want.
It's all about, for a child, it's all about being egocentric. The world centers, the world revolves around me, and that's an immature person. So when we're immature, that means that we can't look outside of ourselves for the sake of another person, because we want, like he said, we want what we want. It's another form of narcissism.
Yeah. So for a child, it's temper tantrums. For an adult, they say stuff like, "I left our mama at home." Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it could be like that.
Or you're not the boss of me.
You know,
or who made you my mama? Oh goodness.
Or who made you in charge? You know, all of those kinds of things. Who put you in charge? And, you know, all of those kinds of things that
that's just the natural nature of man, wanting to do what we want to do, and not thinking about the consequences later, because any decision that we make, it does come with a consequence. That could be good, bad, or neutral, but there will be a consequence of some sort. Like if we decide to eat sweets all day long, we'll either lose our teeth or blow up like a balloon, and then have all kinds of internal problems.
If we don't exercise, like I'm telling on myself now, you know.
Oh gosh.
I was quiet.
You know, we tend to get sluggish if we don't have a lot of activity or have some kind of physical activity going. We tend to become sluggish, and then we tend to feel like, you know, I don't feel like doing nothing. And if we yield and give into that feeling, we'll end up just not doing that, just sitting around all the time, which is not good for us.
It's not good for the body, nor is it good for the mind.
So I need that parent in me to rise up and say, oh no, you going walking in the morning.
Are you still telling on yourself?
I'm telling on myself.
Okay.
You know, and as we age, some of the things that we think we can do, that we can no longer do,
or can't do as
well.
Right.
We need to change how we do it. We need a parent to say, stop trying to do all of that. Pace yourself. why don't you do this for an hour? Come in and sit down. I'm talking about me now. Why don't you work on the yard for an hour and then come in and sit down for an hour and then go back out there and work some more for another hour and then come in and sit down for an hour. Oh no, I'm going to get this done all at one time.
And then you come in with your tongue lagging.
And your back hurting. So you need a parent to say, no, you're not going to do that. This is what you're going to do.
Or a wife.
Yeah. Hopefully this is making sense.
And hopefully, because what we try to do is whatever we teach, we try to make it practical. Because sometimes people don't always get it because it might be totally new to them. The concept of whatever it is that we're saying might be totally new to someone, and they've never thought of life like this, or they've never thought of relationships like this. So what we try to do is put it in practical terms, as well as add a little humor to it so that it's palatable, because sometimes people feel like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. And whenever that couple comes on, I always feel bad after they go off. That's not our intent. What we intend to do is share the information and make it so that people feel like, okay, this is okay. It's like years ago, I read where Jewish mothers would put honey on the tip of their finger and then give it to their child before they got ready to teach them something, so that learning would be a sweet experience. So you want a couple learning with something that will actually benefit you, because life is going to come with all these challenges, and if all we have are the lists of do's and don'ts, we'll feel like we're caged, and I can't have any fun, and I can't enjoy myself. And that's not what this is about. It's about doing what you can to make your life the best life that you can possibly make it, because there's too many outside influences that can cause us to just want to crawl in a hole and cover our heads. But if we learn to discipline ourselves and do what's required to make our lives better, toward the end of our life, we'll have a good life. We might even have a longer life and a fuller life, because we've taken things that make sense, not only make sense, but help apply principles that will get us through all the snags of life, because there are some snags that come with living.
Ooh, you telling me. Heck, boy, woof. That's right.
So one of the areas that the parent, it becomes really important or recognizable in people's personal lives is the ability to save money.
Oh yeah.
It requires a parent to do that. Because when you get money in your hand, there's all kind of things pulling at it, pulling at you. You know you want this. You know you need that. You know. And then what we do from our conscious, which is the middle of the frame, we then, because we want what we want and we don't care what it costs you, just long as we get what we want, we learn how to justify what we want to get what we want. So what we're doing is talking ourselves into what we want.
And out of ourselves. Talking ourselves out of what we
should do.
Yeah.
And you brought up an interesting point, but this is probably, let me know if I'm going down a rabbit hole, but it seems like when you're talking about debts and stuff and saving money, it just seems like the credit card companies want you to stay a child.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They, it's like the cereal on the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you X amount of thousands of dollars so that, because if you can take a card out without taking cold, hard cash out, that's simple. That's easy.
Yeah.
But when you take cash out, you're $20 or $40 less than what you were when you started out in the mall. And it bites at you. Oh, when you take cash, do I really need that?
Yeah.
But when you take that card, you're thinking, who cares? I'll pay for it later with interest that I'm not thinking about at the time of the purchase. Yeah.
And they're making it hard for you. They say you got to build up credit. You know what I mean? It's like they want to keep you dependent. They want to keep you a child.
Right.
On
And
that.
charge you for it.
The commercial industry is always geared toward the child, whether it's clothing or food or cars or whatever it is, it's geared toward the child, because the child will not make the right or the sensible choice, mature choice. And if we're not careful, we'll end up getting ourselves in all kinds of debt, which creates another experience for us because we didn't make good choices. And we need a parent to help us make good choices. Just like we helped our children, like you helped your children make good choices. They may not have wanted the choice you chose for them, but you chose a choice for them that was better for them in spite of what they wanted.
Right.
And so all through our lives, we still, as humans, need a parent, especially when it comes to relationships. Because like the commercial industry, our movie industry and our image of intimacy and romance and relationships is geared and pointed at the child in us.
It's sugar coated. That's one way of saying it. It's sugar coated.
You know, if we're not careful, we'll think if she's pretty, she's a good person, and we don't even know her.
Or she's good in bed.
And we have no clue who this person is. Or if he's handsome, or he's appealing, or has a tough car, he must be the one. Which would cause us to make a bad choice, like a child would make a bad choice with candy or something like that. And so we need a parent residing in us all the time to help us make good choices.
Yeah, like that little voice that you hear. Do I really need that? Should I do that? Is he the one? Is she the one? You know, because those things come back and bite you in the boom boom if you don't do it right.
So the beginning of this is the concept of purpose to be willful. In other words, I have decided to on purpose let my will parent me.
Wow.
I need to purpose to be willful, because if I don't purpose to do it, I'll live in the conscious all the time. I'll live in the emotions all the time. If I don't purpose or recognize I need a parent and purpose to let my will parent me, I'll live in my child all the time.
Right. It's like when kids finally get that first job, they're excited about that job, and then they realize, oh, wait a minute, this is a job. This is not this is not fun, you know. But yet they want to buy a new car, or yet they want to become independent, and that comes with having responsibilities. So in our relationships, we have a responsibility. We're accountable.
Oh yes. The automotive industry want you to come buy that 2-seater, like the one I got in the garage down there. But it's 25 years old
and paid for
a
long time ago.
They want me to go down there and get the 2021 version of what I got. The parents say, you ain't going nowhere.
We are not making a bill to rub your ego. We're just not going to do that, sir. We're just not going to do that.
Don't go down
In
there.
this case, I'm the parent.
Don't go down there and sit in that new one.
No,
No,
no, don't go down. Don't sit in it. Don't go down there. Don't even look for it on the internet. Don't.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
So what we have to learn how
Tie
to
you
do
down.
is
Tie you down. You're not
we
going
have
to.
to,
You're sitting in that new Corvette and it's doing this to you. You're like, woo!
get that new smell going through your nose and all.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all of that is purpose is channeled
Mhm,
at making you make a choice
mhm,
that's coming from your child. That's not coming from a responsible place.
mhm. Yeah, psychologists work very closely with the industry when it comes to commercials, when it comes to how to set up the stores, what grabs your attention. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's a game. It's a game, and somebody's winning because I keep hearing cha-ching, cha-ching. We got us. Hey, we got us another
Got us
one.
another one.
We can take that vacation.
Yeah, let's go get that boat. Yeah.
Oh,
So it's so important to the discipline becomes, first of all, I need to become aware
mm-hmm,
that I need a parent.
mm-hmm,
And then I have to give myself permission. I have to give my will permission to parent me.
mm-hmm,
I got to give myself that permission to parent me.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that begins the process of developing the discipline to do to make good choices and to do what you know you're supposed to do
Right.
based on you, not nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts us down this road where we start to have these experiences that we begin to learn about ourselves, that we're not what we thought we were, or we're not good at what we thought we were good at, or
We're not as strong.
we're
as we
not as
thought.
strong as we thought we were. And then we start to discover it's more difficult than I thought it was to do what I say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know.
It's a challenge.
Mhm,
It's a
mhm.
challenge. And unfortunately, we learn that after we've made a few mistakes. Problem is, some people never learn. They keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. And then later on, it causes you to feel bad about yourself. How could I be so stupid? What was I thinking? You know, all those things. But that's the part of the maturing process. So it's important to learn as much as you can, as early as you can.
Mhm.
And that's why I appreciate the program, because you want to pass on the wisdom that we have from our generation to your generation and the generation under you. We need to leave something behind.
So there become, so thus the concept in the middle, commit to be conscious. In other words, give your emotion, I'm sorry, give your will the ability to parent you, and commit to be conscious of your will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Conscious of it. We talked years ago about this concept called willful conscious effort. All of us we should learn how to live from a willful, aware, putting effort toward a thing, willful conscious effort. So I'm in the middle now, I become committed to be conscious. Mm-hmm.
Emotions always wants to feel good, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Your emotions are your child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it just one child? How many children do some people have inside of them? That's what I want to know.
Some got a lot.
Yeah.
So that then what happens is once we commit to become conscious, we become conscious of purpose. We have to become aware of our purpose. Because if we're not conscious of our purpose, which comes out of the will again, we will become conscious of the emotional area, which is I'm conscious of what makes me feel good. I'm conscious of how I feel when I do this. I'm conscious of how I feel when I drive this car. I'm conscious of how I feel when I put on this suit or I put these clothes. I'm conscious of that, but I'm blind to purpose.
In other words, train your brain.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
reminds me of Linda 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago, that child inside was craving a soda. He's like, I need a soda. You don't have any sodas in the house, right? I said,
Oh.
for a week, right? Like soda. And I was like, well, you do got peppermint over there and some chocolate. Just take a little bit of that. Oh, that's not enough. So I'm thinking,
Why do I have to look like this when you do
that's what it's the struggle. It's the struggle, you know. I'm like, man, is your body craving 14 ounces? Is that what it's doing? So
Oh, gosh.
Did you feel better? No, I don't know. You feel better?
No.
She don't feel better.
Listen, can I make an observation? Years ago, fast food wasn't that popular, but it's popular now. And over the years, we have begun to supersize things, you know, triple burgers and putting bacon and
Oh yeah.
And we've triple sized things so that now when we get what used to be a regular size soda or just a regular burger, we're like, oh, I need more. We don't need more. What we've done is we've allowed our brain to get used to what the retailers have said, you know, out there. You need more. You want more. And what has that done? It's made us a very sick nation. And, you know, we've got more issues to deal with. So that parent is really, really important to have.
Wow.
You know, it's like, you know, on the cartoons, they have an angel over here and the devil on the other side, you know, and which one do you listen to? Train your brain. You just have to learn how to train our brain.
So I noticed on the first square, it said, I just went blank, flesh. And I think that's the whole thing, is fighting your flesh, fighting that battle within of, okay, and that's a hard battle to do, you know, because it seemed like it affects your emotions and your everything else, like that craving, like I really want something sweet, you know. It affects all that, and it makes you tired. It makes you, you know what I mean? Just the different things that goes on with your body. Like, okay, I'm tired. And in my head now, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to stay tired until I get sugar. Do you know what I mean? Until I get that caffeine, instead of saying, okay, you know what? Let that peppermint, just a simple peppermint do. Just do. But it takes 20 minutes for your body and your mind to catch up with this stuff for it to work. And during that 20 minutes is like, it's that battle within, you know?
Wow.
You know, thousands of years ago when scripture was written, Romans 12, I think it is, it says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
And so when we think about these things, we have to remember that it's our mind that has to be changed. We can't afford to sit back and let other people change our minds, because they're getting rich off of the messages that they're giving us. You know, they're making us sick off of the messages that they're sending us.
That's why you got to read those labels.
Yes.
I think it's more than that, because sometimes you don't know until we say, okay, we're not going to have it anymore, or taking a break from it. Sometimes you don't know that your body is yearning for it or used to it, because you're like, oh, okay, I have one a day or one every other day. That's good. That's not bad. And then all of a sudden, when you don't have it that every other day, or it's been 3 or 4 days, now it's like your body.
Oh, I forgot she can see me. I forgot she can see.
It's like your body now is like, okay, it been, it been 4 days, and it's like
You're breaking out in a sweat.
yeah, so you're fighting with yourself, and I took a peppermint right before we went on. It's like, okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. But it takes time of just that battle,
Yeah, because it's rebellion. It's the body is physically rebelling. It wants what it wants.
Mhm.
And it rebels. It wants, it goes into the pout that the child does.
Mhm.
And it wants what it wants. And the discipline of the parent, the strength of the parent is to make it conform, make it conform to what it should conform to.
Mhm.
Now that's harder said than done, because I remember a couple of years ago when I fasted sweets for a whole year, I was sick for 2 weeks. It was like the flu or something, because your body is like, no, no, no. And at the same time, I knew if I give in within that first 2 weeks of doing it, I wouldn't win that battle. It's just like the kid is on the floor acting up.
Yeah.
You already said no. If you give it to them, okay, they always know. I just have to get you to this level.
Right.
And that's the hard part, is going through that stage. After the 2 weeks, it was easy. Every now and then you're like, okay, but you'll get over it pretty fast. But the first beginning part of it, that's hard. That's really hard.
Yeah.
So you're saying to do this, it sounds easy, but it's actually hard, because you have that battle with your flesh.
The body is rebelling.
Okay.
Because it wants what you've been feeding it all this time.
Remember, it wants what it wants, and it don't care what it costs you, as long as it can get what it wants.
Right. And a lot of what sometimes our struggles is the chemicals that, and I don't want to take this into another discussion, but sometimes it's chemicals that we're being deprived of. And so our mind is telling us, we got to have it. I got to have that soda. I got to have the sugar. I got to have the dope or whatever that is, because that's what our brain is telling us. And our body is just reacting to something that we're denying it of.
Go ahead.
No, I was just
going to. Triangle statement is just saying, I got to have my way, or I got to do what I want to do.
Okay. So as we look at this now, remember the emotions, they just want to feel good. That's all they want. They just want to feel good. The body wants what it wants, and it wants it when it wants it, and it don't care, just as long as it get what it wants. That's where the body is.
Yes, the endorphins.
And so the whole thing with this is just like a child. What a child has to figure out is that you mean what you say. The child has to figure out that you actually mean what you say. If you give in to it, the child learns, oh, I can get away with this if I do that.
Yeah. If I can manipulate.
So the body is the same way.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. What the body has to figure out is that you mean what you say. Your parent means what it says. That's what the body has to figure out.
The body will give you headaches.
Yeah.
Try to make you conform.
Yep.
Make you give in. So give you pain. You're feeling that pain.
Yep.
So you have to.
Because there's a lot going on in the brain when we either get what we want or when we don't get what we want, because there's actually chemicals being released into the brain to make the brain, to make you think you're feeling better because you got something that you really could live without.
So as you think about this now in this triangle, in order to point the tip of it in any one of those directions down there, or heart to heart, or speak my heart or work for a heart-to-heart win. In order to point your triangle at that so that you can discipline yourself to be effective or for the best effort or the appropriate skillful effort, I have to discipline the body. The body has to be under control, and the emotions has to be under the control of the parent, so that you can point into any one of those areas. To be disciplined, to have a disciplined effort, and to put forth appropriate skillful effort at whatever you're pointing at in the relationship, whether it's heart to heart or to hear your heart. I have to be disciplined. That means I have to control my body. I got to be able to control my emotions to hear your heart. And then to communicate with you, my heart, I have to control my body and I have to control my emotions so that I can speak my heart where you'll hear me, or even want to hear me.
Right.
And so to be able to problem solve or work together to work through conflicts, I have to control my emotion. Remember, they just want to feel good. Emotions feeling good can feel good if I say something that jabs you. Ugh, that makes me feel good. Okay, all they want to do is feel good. They just want to feel good. Or I say something that hides me from being exposed.
Right.
Because all the emotions just want to feel good. They don't want to feel bad. They just want to feel good. And the body,
Even if it makes you feel bad.
Even if it makes you feel bad. And the body just wants what it wants. And it don't care and don't want to care about what it costs you. Just as long as I get what I want. That's the body. So the discipline to point at any of those requires a parent at the bottom to parent the middle and to parent the flesh, to parent the emotions and to parent the flesh, to point at heart, hear your heart, or to point at speak from your heart, or to point at work for heart to heart win. Because without that discipline, because all the while you're pointing at it, your body's trying to rebel. I don't want to do that. I don't want to work with you. I feel like I'm right. I want you to just agree with me. Can't you see this? All of that kind of stuff.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? All that kind of stuff. So rather than go there, because you want to go there, your body is poised to go there. You got the stance and the whole bit going, and your parent has said you're not going to do that. And you can always think of sharp, quick-witted things to say to
jab.
Teach you trying to expose me. And your parent is saying you're not going to say that. And you're not going to act like you frustrated. You're not going to roll your eyes. I don't know if you remember. I remember coming up as a child. That was the one thing you didn't do.
Oh no, that was like cursing, cussing.
You don't. Yeah, you didn't. You don't do that.
No, I did it one time. One time. One time. She kept telling me, "Don't ever do that," and I did it one time. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that experience. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember saying, I was angry with my mom or something. I was sweeping. I think I had to sweep or something. And I said, "What? Ooh, what did you say?" Last time, you don't do that stuff, though.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. In our time, that didn't work. So it's really important to understand the discipline that's required for this to work. Hopefully, as we talk about this, you could see that two people that have this triangle going for them can work to have a real good relationship with each other because they've disciplined themselves not to hurt one another. Goodwill can grow easily when the two people are disciplined in the relationship. The other person doesn't determine what comes out of your mouth because it's your mouth. You know, I'm not trying to make you see it from my place because you have the right to be yourself.
Yeah.
Just the discipline to not go there. You know, the discipline to not go there.
I keep thinking about athletics, those that play sports, and Serena Williams comes to mind. And just looking at a tennis match makes me tired, let alone being on the court and exerting all that energy. And I'm sure that there are times when she has to talk to herself, and any great athlete has to talk to themselves and say, you can do this. You will do this. They have to ignore the pain. They have to ignore the tiredness. They have to ignore how their body wants to cave in and give up. But because they're set to win, they block the pain and the exhaustion and the sweat coming through, you know, going over their eyes so that they can barely see. They have to block all that out. You know, I look at, I'm not a fan of football, but I look at these guys running into each other and running back and forth across the field and you know, getting hit with these helmets. And I'm thinking, how do you psych yourself out to do that? So it shows me that we can do anything that we really put our minds to, if that's what we want. If we want the outcome to be what we want, then we can do whatever we need to do. And sometimes I hear people say, oh, that's so hard. It's only hard if you haven't determined that you want the best outcome for your relationship. That you have to go in with that mindset. Whatever it takes, I will do what's needed. And sometimes I'm going to have to put me on the shelf and think about only you and your needs at this point, because me, I want to tell you off. I want to tell you, go in there and fix your own dinner. You know? You know, and I'm just being real, because this is real stuff. People want the best for their relationships, but they don't want to do the work. Give me a wand, give me a pill, but don't ask me to work. I just want this to happen. It's not going to happen.
Wow.
So that's why it's so important for every human, especially if you're going to be in a relationship, to develop this triangle, this personal triangle. At the top of the triangle, underneath the intentionality, I put that scripture there. And John 9 and 4 and 5 is Jesus saying, this guy come to him and he's fixing to heal this blind man. And he put clay in his eyes and told him to go to the pool and wash. And so before he did that, he said, I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. The night comes when no man can work. In other words, I need to fulfill my purpose. I need to be conscious of the people that I run into that's in my life. And I need to take advantage of the opportunities that come my way while I can. Because there comes a time when I can't do this anymore. And then he said, I am the light of the world. Now, he really elaborated on that in Matthew's when he said, you are the light of the world. Jesus, in John, he said, I'm the light of the world. And so I'm going to shine. In other words, illuminate my purpose or illuminate. My purpose is to do the will of the Father. So I'm going to illuminate and do my purpose. So he put mud on the guy's eye, told him to go and wash it, and he came back seeing. Over in Matthew's, he said, "You are the light of the world." And then he illuminated and extended. He said, "You're like a city set on a hill that can't be hid." You know, and then he went a little bit further. He said, "Do you take a candle, put it in a stand, and put a what is it, a bushel over it?" I think that's and the concept is you're hiding the light. You're hiding the light.
And what good is that?
Yeah, what good is that? And then the key in that, he said, you know, you take the bushel off of the light, the candle, so that the light can shine in the rooms. What he's talking about is a house. What's in the house? It's the relationship. The light has to shine in your relationship. Because he said, "Let your light so shine among men," you know, I like to say women, boys, and girls, "that they may see your good work." And the work that he's talking about is your relational work. That's what has to shine.
That what has to give illumination.
That's what has to be illuminated so that God can be glorified, or people can recognize God in your life because they know this is not normal. This is not natural. Something has to be working here for you to be that happy this long. Because that's not the normal process of humans or experiences of humans.
Right.
Okay, so the intentionality triangle is the discipline of doing the disciplining yourself so that you can fulfill your purpose and encounter people that they're better off, that they came into you, that they encountered you, and opportunities to shine. That's the whole point in this. And so as your relationship shines, your children get the benefit of a bright relationship. People that you know or come in contact with get the benefit of you, this bright relationship that shine. People may not want to do it, but what they get from you is that they know it can be done.
Right.
So are you saying once you know your purpose, then it's easier, you have more willpower or more strength in your willpower to fight the flesh, that then you're able to hear your heart of what you're supposed to do, be able to speak it, and then to work with somebody else's heart together?
Sure.
So is that kind of how it's being all together? Okay.
Yeah, because another part, and I don't know how far you want to get into the scripture part of that, but there's another part that says you can't come in and take the strong man's stuff unless you bind the strong man first. Okay, and this was Jesus talking about, you know, they say you must be of the devil and all that kind of stuff. And he said, no, the devil can't bind the devil. Okay, you can't win like that. Okay, and so the point is this: you got, if the enemy is trying to, through our natural nature, which involves our emotions and our flesh, he's trying to bind our relationships so he can come in and take away your light. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
I you know.
It does, yeah.
Nope, I do not have anything. Very good explanation of things. So.
All right, I just, you know, got out there, maybe a little bit further than I wanted to go with that, but just so you know, so them three things around the outside represents purpose, and the point means I need to point at all of those. I got to point at all of those in a relationship. I got to be able to point at it, and if I'm going to point at it, I need to put forth appropriate skillful effort to achieve those goals, to achieve it.
So be purposeful and intentional. I hear you say all the time.
Mhm.
That sounds good. So, a lot of meat to chew on.
Thing is, we don't want anybody to get choked.
A lot to take in and stuff. You got to listen to this a second time. So, I'd like to thank you guys for spending another week with us. It's always been a pleasure
It's
to
always our pleasure.
talk and get this wisdom from you. So if anybody has any questions, if you're watching, if you have any questions, where can people get in touch with you?
Okay, there's two websites we can get. You can come to https:// and then it's familylifeinstitute.com. That's our parent, our Family Life website. Or you can come to our Center of Christ Ministry website.com.
Okay. And then if anybody has any questions for us, they can reach us where, Linda?
That's a good question.
Well, since you don't know, I'll tell you. You can find us on patreon.com, Fighting to Stay Married. You go visit us at YouTube if you want. Or you can just leave a comment below and we'll get back with you, right?
I need sugar.
She might be going to the store here, Pastor.
No, I'm going to fight it.
At this time of night,
You'll see if she's successful or not.
you need to get some sugar cubes.
Until then, you guys, we'll see you next time.
All
Okay.
right. Take care.
All right. You guys take care.
Night, night.